Welcome back to another session of the MOOC on Information Security. Here we will discuss auditing and logging. Audit logging is the process of documenting activity within the software system used across your organization. Audit logs records the occurrence of an event, the time at which it occurred, the responsible user or service, and the impacted entity. All of the devices in your network, your cloud services, and your applications emit logs that may be used for auditing purposes. A series of audit logs is called an audit trail because it shows a sequential record of all the activity on a specific system. By reviewing audit logs, system administrators can track user activity and security teams can investigate breaches and ensure compliance with regulatory requirements. Audit logs capture the following types of information: event name as identified in the system, easy to understand description of the event timestamp, actor or service that created, edited or deleted the event, user ID or API ID, application, device, system or object that was impacted like IP address, device ID, etc. Sources from where the actor or service originated like country, hostname, IP address, device ID, etc. Custom tags specified by the user such as severity level of the event. While audit logs can take the form of a physical file, the term usually refers to digital records that you can store in log management platform. Audit logs versus regular system logs. The difference between audit logs and regular system logs, example error logs, operational logs, etc., is the information they contain, their purpose and their immutability. Whereas regular system logs are designed to help developers troubleshoot errors, audit logs help organizations document a historical record of activity for compliance purposes and other business policy enforcement. A log from any network device, application, host or operating system can be classified as an audit log if it contains the information mentioned above and is used for auditing purposes. Compliance framework also generally require organizations to meet long-term retention policies, which is why audit logs aim to be immutable so that no user or service can alter audit trails. Audit logs tracking activities. Organizations typically use audit logs to track the following types of activities. Administrative activity. This includes events like creating or deleting a user account, such as deleting a user from your CRM tool, example Salesforce. Data access and modification. This includes events where a user views, creates or modifies data, such as downloading a file from payroll software, example Workday. User denials or login failures. Audit logs such as Okta and VPN logs may capture when a user is unable to log in to a system, example due to invalid credentials or is denied access to resources like a specific URL. System-wide changes. Audit logs from sources like AWS CloudTrail may capture larger events occurring within a network, such as a user creating a new VM instance or creating a new application. The decision of exactly which activity to audit is left to each organization. System administrators, security engineers, and human resources or HR personnel may all wish to audit different systems for different reasons. Working of audit logging. Most technologies in your tech stack will offer a UI where you can enable audit log collection. Depending on the specific tool, you may also have more granular control over auditing log collection. For example, cloud vendors such as Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud automatically collect a wide range of audit logs. However, you may have to enable audit logging for certain services or certain types of activity to ensure you have enough data to prove compliance or investigate an incident. Teams can send their audit logs to a central log management platform for easy storage, search and analysis. In order to send your logs to a log management platform, you will need to install an agent on your host or utilize a direct integration between the logging platform and the software that you are collecting audit logs from. Benefits of audit logging. Whereas in the past, audit logging was more common in specific industries like finance and insurance, it is now front and center for all types of companies with a digital footprint. Across industries, audit logging can be used to achieve the following important goals. First one is ensuring compliance with industry regulations. Regulations like CIS, PCI, DSS and SOC2 affect a wide variety of industries. Audit logs can be used to show that your organizations met certain benchmarks, example, password security for CIS during a specific time period. Another one is troubleshooting system issues. Audit logs contain detailed historical information that can be used to reconstruct the timeline of a system outage or incident. For instance, logs can help distinguish between operator error and system error. Audit trails can also be used to remediate a problem, such as potentially restoring a corrupted file to its original state by examining what changes were made to it. Reconstructing security breaches. When breaches occur, an audit trail can help organizations find out how they happened. For example, if an employee complains that their bank account information is incorrect in the payroll system, HR staff can examine audit logs to determine who changed the account information and when. Recommending new security and audit procedures. Organizations can enforce individual accountability and reduce the likelihood of security breaches to fraudulent activity by reviewing audit logs and recommending new security procedures. Providing legal evidence. In legal proceedings, audit logs can provide proof of validity of a specific event, such as an individual's e-signature on a document. Challenges of audit logging. The primary challenge of audit logging is knowing what to audit. In modern distributed environments, organizations often emit terabytes of log data per day. Due to cost concern and the time constraints, many organizations don't audit all of their system activity. Companies may collect logs only from some systems or may collect only those logs that document certain types of activity. For example, administrative activity logs but not data access logs. Alternatively, organizations may retain logs for a short amount of time to reduce storage cost. Cutting corners on which logs to collect and how often can create blind spots in your environment. As a result, you may be at risk of non-compliance or lack sufficient information for an audit or investigation. As we will discuss more below, some modern monitoring platforms allow you to cost effectively ingest and archive logs for long periods of time. Another challenge of audit logging is preventing unauthorized access to or modification of the audit logs themselves. The integrity of an audit log is essential to its value. An intruder may damage that integrity by modifying an audit log when attempting to cover their tracks. To prevent modification, you can restrict access to audit logs to a small number of people within your organization or utilize other approaches for tamper-proof logging. Audit logs may also contain sensitive information such as bank account numbers. Log management tools can be used to encrypt such data to avoid unauthorized access. Complex distributed environments also pose a challenge for audit logging. Sometimes an intruder's modification of one system may affect another system. For example, if a user modifies their job title in a personal system, that may automatically trigger a salary challenge in the payroll system. Audit logs may capture both modifications, but someone reviewing the logs manually days or weeks after the events may find it difficult to correlate the logs together. Cost considerations. Audit trails involve many costs. First, some system overhead is incurred recording the audit trail. Additional system overhead will be incurred storing and processing the records. The more detailed the records, the more overhead is required. Another cost involved human and machine time required to do the analysis. This can be minimized by using tools to perform most of the analysis. Many simple analyzers can be constructed quickly and cheaply from system utilities, but they are limited to audit reduction and identifying particularly sensitive events. More complex tools that identify trends or sequences of events are slowly becoming available as off-the-shelf software. If complex tools are not available for a system, development may be prohibited expensive. Some intrusion detection systems, for example, have taken years to develop. The final cost of audit trails is the cost of investigating anomalous events. If the system is identifying too many events as suspicious, administrators may spend undue time reconstructing events and questioning personnel. Audit trails and logs. A system can maintain several different audit trails concurrently. There are typically two kinds of audit records, an event-oriented log and a record of every keystroke, often called keystroke monitoring. Event-based logs usually contain records describing system events, application events, or user events. An audit trail should include sufficient information to establish what events occurred and who or what caused them. In general, an event record should specify when the event occurred, the user ID associated with the event, the program or command used to initiate the event, and the result. Date and time can help determine if the user was a masquerader or the actual person specified. Keystroke monitoring is the process used to view or record both the keystrokes entered by a computer user and the computer's response during an interactive session. Keystroke monitoring is usually considered a special case of audit trails. Examples of keystroke monitoring would include viewing characters as they are typed by users, reading users' electronic mail, and viewing other recorded information typed by users. Some forms of routine system maintenance may record user keystrokes. This could constitute keystroke monitoring if the keystrokes are preserved along with the user identification so that an administrator could determine the keystroke entered by specific users. Keystroke monitoring is conducted in an effort to protect systems and data from intruders who access the system without authority or in excess of their assigned authority. Monitoring keystrokes typed by intruders can help administrators assess and repair damage caused by intruders. System level audit trails versus application level audit trails. If a system level audit capability exists, the audit trail should capture at a minimum any attempt to log on, successful or unsuccessful, the logon ID, date and time of each logon attempt, date and time of each log off, the devices used, and the functions performed once logged on. Example, the applications that the user tried successfully or unsuccessfully to invoke. System level logging also typically includes information that is not specifically security related, such as system operations, cost accounting charges, and network performance. System level audit trails may not be able to track and log events within applications or may not be able to provide the level of detail needed by applications or data owners, the system administrators or the computer security manager. In general, application level audit trails monitor and log user activities including data files opened and closed, specific actions such as reading, editing and deleting records or fields and printing reports. Some applications may be sensitive enough from a data availability, confidentiality and or integrity perspective that a before and after picture of each modified record or the data elements changed within a record should be captured by the audit trail. Implementation issues. Audit trail data requires protection since the data should be available for use when needed and is not useful if it is not accurate. Also, the best planned and implemented audit trail is of limited value without timely review of the log data. Audit trails may be reviewed periodically as needed, often triggered by occurrence of a security event, automatically in real time, or in some combination of these. System managers and administrators with guidance from computer security personnel should determine how long audit trail data will be maintained, either on the system or in archive files. Audit log review. Remember that just collecting the logs is not enough. You need to periodically review logs for unusual behavior, which can come from a combination of automatic and manual efforts. Your logging, altering correlation system, for example, can be configured as a first level triage for altering or unusual behavior. But don't rely on tools to be the be all end all of your log review. You should configure log summary reports that are automatically emailed on a periodic basis and then assign resources to review them monthly. During the manual review, you can make sure the endpoints you are collecting logs from match up with what is in your inventory and configure any new endpoints to generate logs as needed. You can also figure out if one or more log sources are failing collection for any reason and or if log disk spaces for the next month will be sufficient. It is also a good idea to schedule regular simulations of events to make sure the proper logs are generated. For instance, you could create a test account on the network, adjust its rights and permissions, and then log into it with the wrong password enough times to force a lockout. Many organizations have no idea what's going on under the hood of their networks, and in the case of a breach or other security incident, they would have little evidence to help them figure out what happened. Turning up logging from your network endpoints is a great first step, but you also need to turn the logs so they provide you with insightful information. Make sure you have carefully planned for storing these logs for both the short and long term. Finally, be sure that you don't just set and forget your tools to shoulder the logging burden for you. Schedule regular manual reviews to make sure all critical endpoints are being logged and generating the level of detail that you define in your log management and review policy. Hence, in this module, an insight of audit logging in ensuring system security along with the mechanisms to implement the audit logging in different environments is given. Hope you enjoy this session. See you next time. Bye.